right, so I dropped the ball this week. I apologize. I'll totally admit it. Okay, I'm going to be one of those teachers. If I make a mistake, I'm going to own it. And this week, I usually have my video presentations up and ready on Mondays, but oh my gosh, completely forgot, and it's Wednesday. So, I do apologize this video is getting out there late, but, hopefully I'll be able to cover some of the things that we're doing this week in order to help you out. So, let's go ahead and get started. This week, we're going to continue looking at what we were looking at before the Thanksgiving break. We were looking at the difference between direct and indirect characterization. And so we're looking at how well authors can tell you about their characters and the methods in which they do it. So what we're going to do first, and I mean, this might not seem like it's related to characterization, but it is. And you'll get it later. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it in class. It all connects. It all makes sense. But we're going to start off this week with a discussion. And our discussion is, the prompt is, describe what you would say or do to convince your parent or guardian to give you back your cell phone in case, you didn't answer their calls or their texts and they took your phone away. And so we're going to practice a little bit of argumentative writing here. And, I do apologize to your parents if, I'm working against them here, helping you argue against your parents. But this is a really important skill that you need it later on in life. So you might as well learn it right now. And so, describe what you would do or you would say to convince your parents to give you your phone back. Explain the words or actions that you would also use that would work, that should work for them. And so I see that one of you guys have already responded, but what you'll do is you'll write down your argument and then you'll respond to at least two of your classmates and, maybe ask for clarifying questions. Maybe you can provide a counter argument. Just have fun with it, really. And so when we're done with that discussion, we're going to practice some claim evidence reasoning skills. Now, this is something that you should have been working on in junior high. But let me tell you, your English teachers, your science teachers, your history teachers, pretty much everyone is going to have you work with your claim evidence reasoning skills for the rest of your academic careers. And so this is going to be kind of like introductional for those of you who don't really know what CER is or, how to make an argument. And so I'll go ahead and go through this presentation with you right now. So by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to find evidence that is relevant and connects to the claims that you make, and you'll also be able to explain how that evidence works to support your claim. So, when I give you a writing prompt, or if I give you a task or a research paper project, you use something called claim evidence and reasoning. Now, this happens when you make an argument and you find something to back that argument up. Because, just saying something, won't make it persuasive for other readers or other listeners. It's really important that you find some extra help, you find some extra evidence to really prove your point. But you can't just stop there. If you're going to find evidence to support your claim, you have to explain how it works, because readers and listeners, they're just naturally lazy, and they like to do a lot of the thinking by themselves. So with claim evidence reasoning, you do the thinking for them, and you can get them to change their mind on many topics using this strategy. And so this week what we're doing is we're still working with the short story reading we did, Hope Was Here, and we are going to make a claim based on this document. You guys have a copy of this already. But our claim that we're making, I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you. The main character does not like her name Tulip. Okay, that is the claim that you can make about this story. And I mean, if you remember reading it, we know that Hope changed her name to Hope because of a lot of reasons. And so we're going to look at those reasons and use those reasons to support the claim we're making right here, that she doesn't like her name Tulip. And so the way that we do that is we find something called evidence. Now, evidence can take many different shapes and forms. Okay, you can use evidence from your personal life. You can use evidence from radio, from TV, from, articles. Most oftentimes when people think of evidence, though, they think of direct quotes, which we have an example of right here. And so remember, our claim is the main character does not like her name Tulip. So we read the story, and as we're reading the story, this sticks out to us. This quote right here, this quote says, how a person can look at a 2-pound baby all wired up in a hospital box and think tulip is beyond me. Okay, now, yeah, that is a wonderful quote. That explains our claim. But if I didn't read the short story and you're making this claim right here, this isn't going to make a lot of sense to me. I need something else. I need some reasoning to back it up. And so we've talked about paraphrasing before, so I'm going to skip this. If you guys still need help with paraphrasing, you can look back at our previous module and you can reach out to me and I can help you with that. But for the time being, I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to go straight to reasoning here. And so our claim is the main character does not like her name Tulip. We have the evidence. We have the direct quote from the text that says how a person can look at a 2-pound baby all wired up in a hospital box and think tulip is beyond me. Okay, we're going to practice our paraphrasing skills. So, if we were to paraphrase this quote, we would say, I do not understand why anyone would name a baby Tulip, right? Because if we look at the quote, when someone says something is beyond me, it basically means that it's beyond their scope of comprehension. It's beyond their scope of understanding. That means their brains are just too little to understand it. And, for example, how someone can't put pineapple on a pizza is beyond me. I love pineapple on pizza. I think it's delicious. And people get so critical about it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's beyond me. And, we can also make some other inferences. If you remember the skills that we've been working on, making inferences. By looking at this quote, we can infer that, little baby Tulip was born premature at 2 pounds. That is very light for a baby. And when someone is all wired up in a hospital box, we know that they're on some kind of life support system. We know that they need some kind of help and the doctors are intervening. And so we paraphrase that. But, this isn't going to work by itself. In order to really drive home our claim, we have to back it up with evidence. Now, understand that reasoning is not a summary of the evidence. Okay? You're not explaining what's happening in the story. You are explaining to me the relationship between our claim and the relationship between the evidence that supports that claim. And so that's what the purpose is right here. And let me go ahead and remove my face so you can see what I'm doing. Oops, wrong button. So down here it says, what does the evidence tell us about the character? Okay, the main character doesn't understand why her mom gave her a name that doesn't represent who she really is as a person. Okay, that is our reasoning. Here you are explaining to your reader how this supports this. Okay? And so what we're going to do in the next, and I'm just going to go ahead and shut this down and just move ahead and show you. On the next page, this is where you need to do a little bit of work. What you're going to have is you're going to have a copy of a slides presentation with a chart on it, and you're going to fill out this chart for yourself. Now, I already went in and filled this out with the class. And what we have here, okay, you are going to find another quote from the short story that supports your claim. Now, I have the example quote up here already. Okay, here's our 2-pound baby quote. Here's how we paraphrased it. This is where we explain what the quote means and how this evidence, tells us about the character. And right here, this is where it gets a little difficult because we've only talked about theme just a little bit. But what I want you to do is to explain how this evidence relates to the theme of the story. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, the theme of the story is about being comfortable with yourself. Okay? It's important to be comfortable with yourself. And this is where, this box right here, this is going to be a little tough. But what I want you to do is explain how this quote supports the theme of the story, just like how this quote, how this box supports the claim that you're making that the main character does not like her name Tulip. And so what you'll do is you'll find a brand new quote, you'll put it down here, you'll paraphrase it, you'll tell me what it means, and you'll tell me why it matters. All right, and so, yeah, please turn that in by Monday. Please, please, please. All right, so the next activity we've done things like this before. We have a new story. It's called Priscilla and the Wimps. And you guys are going to do the same thing that you did with the Hope Was Here story. And here, I'll go ahead and put my face back up here. Oh, wrong button. Here I am. Okay, so we're going to continue our work. I'm going to make a copy of this. We'll open it up. Open it up. So here's another short story. And our purpose for reading, it's going to be at the top of this page right here. Our purpose for reading, we need to answer this question: how is Priscilla different from the other kids at the school? And so you'll put that purpose for reading, you'll just copy and paste it, put it in this box. You'll read the story. You'll go down, down, down. And I want you guys to continue working with plot. Show me that you understand plot structure. Tell me what the exposition is, the conflict. What is the climax of the story? What is the rising and falling action? What's the resolution? You can put that in the box like we've done before. Down here, I want you to give me a 3-sentence summary, and I want you to fill out the somebody wanted but so then chart. So tell me who the characters are, or who the main character is. Tell me what the character wanted. Tell me what the conflict was. What was the problem? Tell me how the character solved the problem, and tell me what was the resolution to the story. Okay, how did it all go down? And then down here, I want you to answer the purpose question. The question that you put up here at the top. We've done a lot of these, so I'm not really worried about you. I know you guys can do this really well. All right. And then I think we have one more discussion. Yes, we have one final reflection discussion, and then we will be done with this module. And so what I want you to do is I'm giving you a choice here. You can pick one of these questions to respond to. Based on what you've read in this module, what unites people during difficult times, choose one of the learning targets outlined in the introduction page. So that very first page in the module, you'll have to go back and check that, and explain how you've made progress towards that learning goal. And then you can also choose to tell me about a time where you felt united with people after living through a challenging experience. And I mean, come on, we're going through something right now, aren't we? I mean, why are we doing this distance learning thing in the first place? Maybe there's something you can write about that. I don't know. But anyways, that's what we're doing this week. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you know how to reach me. I will respond to your questions as soon as possible. Have a good week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.